clouds will blow away. All right. Bill Harley! Okay. I like your attention. Try it. That's pretty good. I mean, it is Nickney's. Jimi Hendrix would be walking in here and somebody would be talking back there, I'm sure. And he's left the building. Okay, so my name's Bill Harley. We never had an election. Somehow I'm president by default of the Red Bandana Fund because everybody loves each other. And do me this honor. There's a den of thieves. This is Karen Malcolm's on the committee. Who else is here? Rich Wahlberg, Steve Graham, Barbara, Jane Colby, Jane Murphy. We're looking for a couple other people to help us. If you're really interested in being part of this incredible group, you can talk to us afterwards. A couple things. Okay, so we have these bandanas we bought a couple years ago. It's got a little picture of Richard on it. Nice! And yes, and we have plans for ones even more beautiful, but we can't make the beautiful ones until you buy these. That's easily done. We can take care of that today. Fashionable. If you haven't put money in the bucket, it's just what we make today that keeps, this is like the low-level fundraising thing. This is your chance. All right? So
it's grassroots fundraising.
It's grassroots. Low-level. Low-level is good. Close to the earth. All right. This is like, it's like a bar. It's like a late show already. People are commenting on me. And also, I've been told by our social media maven, Stephen Graham, that you should like us on Facebook because something happens. We don't know what. There's an algorithm. So let me talk just for a minute about Richard. Okay, how many people here knew Richard Walton? Raise your hand. You know? That's pretty good. It looks like there's maybe 30% that didn't. Richard Walton was a great friend of many of the people in this room. He was born here in Rhode Island. He went to Brown University back when I think he said he was paying $200 to get in, the tuition or something. Yeah, that was a long time ago. He left, went to New York City. He was a journalist. He wrote books on Kennedy and Henry Wallace and the Cold War. He was a reporter for NBC News. He interviewed Patrice Lumumba in the Congo. He was a member of the literati with the Lion's Head, where they said the woman would stick her head in and say, "Is this the bar where there are writers with drinking problems?" And they said, "No, this is the bar where there are drinkers with writing problems." Frank McCourt and all those guys. He was Jimmy Breslin. He knew them all. But then when he was 61, like I am, he came back and had another huge life here. He immediately made himself available to all the progressive groups. He did a long expose in the Providence Sunny magazine when it was actually worthy about living on the streets that made people pay attention. He was a vice presidential candidate for the Citizens Party in 1984 with Sonia Johnson. He helped to start the union at Rhode Island College. He helped run Stone Soup for years. The main thing about Richard, and I could go on and on, is he was always there. He knew that just by being present, by just his body being there, it might make a difference. And I think most of us in the room knew Richard feel moved by that. So when he died 4 or 5 years ago, we decided we wanted to do something to remember him, and we started this award. And the award is to honor the people in the trenches who don't get the attention all the time, but are there every day, and they're not obviously doing it for some kind of fame or financial reward. They're doing it because it's who they are and it's the right thing to do. And that is an amazing thing in today's world. So we're going to make the awards now. Am I doing okay? Yeah? All right. Anything, Steve, I'm supposed to say that I haven't said? No. Okay, go ahead. Okay. The first award we'd like to make is to Artemis Moonhawk. Artemis. Actually, every time I learn more about Artemis, I seem like there was another name being added to her. I can't keep track of all her names. One of the things that's wonderful about this award is you find all these things that are going on in the community that are below the surface we don't know. So I'm just going to read what Colleen Pollock wrote. Okay. Mama Dreads, or Artemis, has advocated for the homeless and impoverished of Rhode Island for several years. Her mission of love is a grassroots operation that relies on the donations of average people. Artemis cooks food that has been donated or purchased through donations of her own money. She feeds people who are homeless and living with food insecurity due to poverty. She has a warm hug for anyone who needs it and reaches out to people via face-to-face interactions and social media to help find help for the most needy people. She cooks for House of Compassion in Cumberland and Be the Change in West Warwick. She visits tent cities, talks to the people to determine their needs, and puts out requests to her tribe, who's with her here today. She sees the invisible people, feeds them nourishing meal, and gives hopes and hugs to those who have little or none. With her long, blondish dreadlocks, in case you haven't been able to find her yet. Colorful attire, service cities isolated and known, Chihuahua, and devoted husband, it is hard not to see Mama Dreads as she walks the city's isolated and known homeless safety zones, assessing needs and distributing food. She sees and hears the people that most walk without noticing or find intimidating or annoying. Mama Dreads truly deserves recognition for all she does on behalf of the people society tries to sweep away. The Red Bandana Award of 2016 is presented to Artemis Moonhawk for her tireless compassion, aid to, and advocacy for the health and welfare of the homeless in Rhode Island. Through her work with Mama Dread's mission of love, she reminds us that our humanity is measured by our care for the least, which she exhibits gladly, joyfully, and continually on the streets of our communities. We are all better for her presence in our midst. Artemis.
From Occupy Providence, and I spent 7 hours at Praise Tabernacle today because I needed a little bit of church. And I want to thank God and my husband for being so freaking patient. And I want to thank everybody because we are the meal that food stamps bought, and it's working. Thank you so much.
From her tribe. I saw you get your own, but this is from all of us.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to say anything? Thank you guys. It's your guys' day.
If it wasn't for Mama Dread, we wouldn't be getting the award tonight, and I love Mama Dread because she's a wonderful person.
Yeah. We love you, Mama.
We all love you, Mama Dread.
Thank you, Artemis. I should tell you, I was talking with Eric Hirsch, who got the award last year, and he said that it's the one thing he hangs on his wall. It's the award that has meant the most to him. So It's been our hope when we started that when people get this award, it's going to have a weight of the weight of years, which each year we know the legacy that's been carried, that Richard has started, that we're carrying on. Okay, our next recipient, our second recipient, is Sarah Suang in the Providence Youth Student Movement. Sarah, you want to come up here? Things that's interesting that we're finding is nominees for the award keep nominating each other. And so I want to read a few words from Shanna Curlin, who has just been incredible over the years in Providence. When she wrote us, she was talking about trying to think about how Sarath and Richard Walton were the same or different. She said, Richard was older by the time I knew him, a white man with roots in the peace and international solidarity movements. Sarath is a young, when I first met him, maybe not so much now. Queer Cambodian, helping guide an organization working with Southeast Asian youth through its teen years. But when I stop and think about it, there are many ways that they are alike. Omnipresence. Sarath's faithful participation in everyone else's campaigns and efforts, from driver's license for the undocumented to environmental justice events and anti-war marches over the years, belie the amount of work he puts into supporting youth organizers and keeping their organizations afloat. Movement building. Just like Richard used to connect protests against U.S. interventions and local efforts for economic justice, Sarath has built a multidimensional way of organizing that makes our issues intersect within PRISM and beyond. He's helped youth see how their struggle against police racial profiling means that Southeast Asians and all Asians must support the Black Lives Matter movement. And he's worked to build that agenda nationally. He has recruited and supported young people to build a space and liberation movement within PRISM and beyond for young, queer, and trans people of color. Just look at PRISM's contingent in last year's Pride Parade for an idea. One of a number. Richard always seemed to me to have a presence and to contribute while always allowing room for other leaders. Even in the role of executive director, Sarath puts a ton of effort into supporting and encouraging other people in leadership roles. In fact, in talking about this nomination, Stephen, organizing director at PRISM, and I predicted that Sarath will be kind of annoyed that we nominated him instead of someone else or the whole organization. But we decided to do what we want, since he's taught us to be independent. So, the Red Bandana Award of 2016 is presented to Sarath Suang and the Providence Youth Student Movement for his steadfast and continued work with our Southeast Asian communities and the youth of Providence. Sarath's dedicated vocation reminds us that the immigrant story is the story of our country and our community, that all people deserve a place at the table, and that speaking truth to power is possible every day.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. If you give me a couple of minutes, I just wanted to share a few things. So yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone, thank you. Red Bandana Fund. I'm honored to be here, Richard. Seemed like a wonderful, amazing, thoughtful man. And I'm honored to be the recipient of his award. And I like to think that me and him can hang out and talk about a few things. So just a quick, short thing about me. I organize and do this work because I understand my place in this country as a child of war. I was born in the Thai refugee camps after the U.S. had left Cambodia and Southeast Asia. And you know, for us, when we came here, we were sort of a reminder of the Vietnam War, a reminder of a war that the U.S. had lost. But we always called it sort of the American War. And so I grew up in a community right outside of Boston, a Southeast Asian community, and I was very sort of questioning young person who tried to understand what was happening with my community, tried to understand why the police was pulling us over, beating us, and trying to understand why the schools were trying to push us out. And so there was two important lessons these mentors taught me. One, they said, what's happened to you and your people in your community it's not because it's your fault. And the second thing told me was that what's happening right now and what's happening in your community, you have the power to change it. And so that's sort of where I understood what my purpose was and what we can do as a community to really figure out our work here in Providence. So just a quick thing about PRISM. We were founded 15 years ago. So we're 15 years old this year. It's hard. So it's hard trying to do organizing work as a nonprofit with amazing young people in a community that very few understand, right? So for us, for Southeast Asians, we mean those folks from the countries of Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. Folks who are refugees like me who came to the US in the 80s and 90s. And I just wanted to highlight two campaigns that we're doing, because we're trying to be an organizer too, just make sure y'all know what we're doing, and ask for some help. So in one of our AVA campaign, one of our campaigns this year, campaign in which Randall and Kathy and Shauna have been involved in helping us with, is trying to pass the Community Safety Act. We are trying to get past a city ordinance that will hold the Providence Police Department accountable to the ways that they profile young people, poor people, people of color, queer and trans people. We need more police accountability, and we need the Providence Police Department to get their boots off our necks while we are trying to live.
Amen.
So we need help. We need, for those folks who live in the east side of Providence or have friends or family or any influence in Providence, please contact Council People Zaria and Yurden, and please urge them to really support the Community Safety Act. We need to vote as city councils for it to pass in City Hall. So please contact them. Or talk to any of us and learn more about how you can support us.
Make a phone call.
Make a phone call. Host a house meeting. Right. So the next thing is this for everybody that lives in Providence. We're trying to pass the All Students Count Act of 2016. It's a bill that will make the disaggregation of data in the Providence public school systems go into effect. So that means for what's really important for Southeast Asians is that we are sort of lumped into a larger Asian American racial category. What that does, it erases the real struggles of South Asian young people who are only graduating 60% of their rate, right? And so we are asking the state to please help us collect information and data about our young people so that we can better figure out how to support them in their efforts in the schools. So please look up the All Students Count Act of 2016, contact your elected officials, and please encourage them to support that bill. But what's really important is those both campaigns, and we're just doing many of our campaigns, is that they're led by young people. They're led by Southeast Asian young people. They're led by queer and trans young people. They're led by young people of color in Providence. And that is why it's really important for us to support these efforts. So thank you. Thank you, Red Bandana Fund. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Gladys. And as always, thank you to my prison fam for always one of you.
I should tell you, there were, I think, 17 or 18 nominations, and we felt like we wanted to give 18 awards out. So if you did nominate somebody, don't give up. Send it to try again next year. And think over the year of the people who've been doing this kind of grassroots work that don't get the attention. They've been doing it, year after year. Please make a donation. Talk to your neighbor. Introduce yourself. If you don't know him, this is your chance. You'll see him again on the street someplace. I want to thank Chris Monty Band again. And we keep thinking that it's going to be outside. The Extraordinary Rendition Band is going to fit. But instead, they're inside again this year. So good luck with the conversation, because these guys played all day yesterday, so I really appreciate them being here today. Thank you very much. Enjoy yourselves, you guys.